Welcome to episode 39 of the World of Screens podcast. On today's show, we have reviews for 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple, HAMNET, No Other Choice, and The Rip. Plus, we catch up on last weekend at the Australian box office, as always. I'm Nicola Barrow, the founder and film editor at World of Screens, No Other Choice, World of Screens. I don't know where I am. It's Friday afternoon. I'm overdosing on Pepsi Max. You're Peter Gray. You're from the AU Review. Hey, Pete, what's going on? How are you?
I'm very well. Small part of me was like, well, if he messes up World of Screens and makes it World of Chiefs, I'm like, can't wait to see what kind of slur you make my last name. So that'll be fun. Because look, I get it. Okay,
He gets it.
you take out the R, and what do you get?
You get the AU Review critic, Peter Gray, interview extraordinaire, TIFF native, bellwether critic, and survivor of the 28-year zombie apocalypse, which I'm very excited to talk about that on the
Super
show today.
excited.
We have a massive show. We have 4 movies to talk about. This
Big show.
show's tiny compared to next week, where we actually have 5 movies to talk about.
Really big show. Really big show.
Really big show. Really big show. Great show. Great show. Really big show. So let's waste no time before we get into it. Housekeeping. Thank you. If you're watching us on YouTube, you can like, comment, subscribe on there. Spotify, Apple Podcasts. If you download the episodes and follow the show, that really helps us get into the algorithm. The Spotify and Apple Podcast numbers are growing episode by episode. So thank you all for listening. What in the house, as they say, as those fun little Gen Zers say.
God, they keep me young.
They make me feel so, hey, 6, 7, whatever the kids say. You know what I'm saying? That's a story for another time. I've been inundated with 6, 7 the last few days. Subscribe to worldofscreens.com's emailing list. You will see like the Mercy giveaway we just put up, the Chris Pratt Rebecca Ferguson film that is coming out next week, plus all of our reviews that go up on there at World of Screens on Instagram. All of your support's incredibly helpful, and we thank you for watching, listening, subscribing, all of that. I was at the Cricket recently, and as has been said in the show, I'm a big sports fan.
It's a sentence that I can never say, but glad that you.
Hey, and you know what? I'm out here I'm representing my cricket community. We love bats and balls on this show.
Well, it's like that's the only thing. There's the one thing we have in common, but
that's the one thing we have in common. Anytime it's came up, so because it's a limited overs game as a 2020 cricket, anytime it came up,
of course,
67 balls remaining,
a
chorus of children, 6, 7, like it was like I was inundated. The dancers, they have a little dance crew that goes around the field. They were dancing to Soda Pop from K-pop Demon Hunters, and kids were criticizing the way they dance while screaming Soda Pop.
7.
I don't know. I've never felt so out of touch.
It's been said by anybody with a brain and a pulse. 6, 7 is the dumbest
I don't
shit.
get it.
It is so fucking stupid, and I really hope it dies in the ass soon because it's just a longer, stupider way of saying something's average.
See, you knew more about it.
Isn't that what it is? Isn't
I
6,
don't
7?
know. I
assume it's like, what is it? 6, 7, like it's average. That's what I think.
I'm too scared to find out. Like, because
the irony being 6, 7 is fucking less than average. It's dumb. You kids are dumb. You're saying you're doing more than you have to than just to say something's average. Something's
just
average.
say it's average.
It's so easy to say.
I was too scared to actually find out what it means.
I mean,
I have no clue.
I'm the same. I don't want to ask someone because then I have to speak to a youth, and I don't want to do that. But like, I assume that's what it is.
Hey, youth, come over here.
Yeah,
I got a question for you.
I assume that's what it is. And in my mind, that makes perfect sense. If something is 6, 7, it's like average.
It's average. Yeah. Because even South Park parodied 6, 7, and I still don't know what it is, but I was laughing because Cartman gets possessed by the 6, 7 devil, and it's ultimately like an exorcist takeoff where he just can't stop going 6, 7, 6, 7. He starts like throwing up everywhere. So I thought it was hilarious. I just still don't know what it means, and I will never find out. I'm too scared to find out, and it made me realize that shit, I'm on a one-way trajectory to Old Town because like I
You know
my
what? But you know what, Nick? It's great in Old Town.
Hey, I was saying someone the other day. My sister's 10 years younger than me. She sends me reels and I don't get them. I don't understand. It's not funny to me. And
Oh,
then I
right.
send her
Because
stuff.
part of me
She's
was
like,
like, you
that's
don't
not
get,
funny. And I'm
you
like,
don't
what?
get them, and I was like, because she's not actually
How does this
sending.
work?
It says I have to open the TikTok. What's a TikTok? And that's not no tick or talk. There's a C in there. God damn it.
Do you know what is really great is that all this talk about being left behind by a society is a really great way to segue into
Oh,
the first film we're
the
talking
seg.
about.
See, you know what that wasn't? That wasn't 6-7. You know what it is? It's
Yeah.
2-8. Oh,
Oh, and a movie that I've seen. Peter's seen some of it. We You were gunning through a screener before we started recording.
oh, we're not
This one
talking.
here.
Oh, I thought we
We're
were
gonna
talking about.
do the other one. We'll do the other one
Yeah.
first. We're gonna
So then
talk.
my 2-8 thing makes me look like a fucking idiot.
No, but I got it, and that's all that matters. We're gonna talk Park Chan-wook's No Other Choice. So it's a
Yeah.
South Korean satirical black comedy thriller, co-written, produced, and directed by Park Chan-wook. Probably best known for The Old Boy, that whole trilogy, the Mr. Vengeance trilogy, but also The Handmaiden, which I think is one of the best films of like the last 20 years as well. It's based on a novel called The Axe by Donald Westlake, and the film stars Lee Byung-hun, Son Ye-jin, Park Hee-sun, Lee Sung-min, and Cha Sung-won. It is pardon me. It follows a desperate paper industry expert who decides to kill off his competition to be assured of the job he seeks to maintain his way of life. Park Chan Wook, where do you sit with him as a filmmaker? You're a fan. Handmaiden,
And
Decision to Leave.
yeah, like he's pretty like you'd easily say he's probably one of like the greatest filmmakers of his
Oh,
generation.
him and Bong Joon-ho and what they're doing in
Yeah.
South Korean cinema is just wow.
Yeah. And No Other Choice. Yeah, so I've seen parts of No Other Choice.
Yeah,
It was one of the like it was it was on my list to see at TIFF.
right. Yeah, yeah,
Unfortunately, it was just one of those ones there where I either ended up getting red carpets to something, I got premiere tickets to something, and it just ended up not being a screening I could make.
yeah. The schedule gets full.
It does. And hopefully Nick will know what I'm
I
talking
will
about
find
when he's
out
there.
soon.
So and yeah, unfortunately I didn't get to see it, but like everyone that did had a great reaction to it. He like
Yeah,
Lee Byung-hun ended up getting like a tribute award there as well. It obviously is now picking up a lot of traction because it got nominated at the Golden Globes.
yes.
It's it's very possible it'll get a Best Picture nomination for foreign language at the Oscars, I assume.
I would say so. Yeah.
So I was interested in seeing this, and the premise is like really cool, and I'm like, I
It's
kind of love,
really fun, really
like,
quirky. Yeah.
I really like, I have a very, you know, I have an affection for like black comedy,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
and
And this one is fucking black.
yeah,
Like this
and
is
when I
satirically.
read about it, I was like, okay, like I can see how you could make this a very serious
Mm,
drama. You can make it a thriller. You can make it a horror movie,
yeah. Yeah.
even. So he's taken the black comedy route. So I'm very excited to finish the film. So I
Mm,
can only really speak to what I've seen
yeah. Yeah. Of
so
course.
far. But I'm like I am sensing the tone. I'm like I can see how this is going to escalate.
Yeah.
And Lee Byung-hun is like he's
He's
incredible.
brilliant. He's
He's
brilliant in
such
the
he's
entire
such
film.
a good actor.
Oh,
Um,
he and people forget how much good stuff he's in
yeah,
as well.
yeah,
Like that's the thing.
yeah.
He's great the whole way through. So it's definitely the film starts quirkier. It maintains its quirkiness and its black comedy like all the way throughout.
Mm,
But then it's also it's injected with so much moral complexity
mm.
in the second half of the film when I guess the deciding to kill off the competition becomes actually trying to kill people.
Yeah,
So it's super dark and it's super funny, but I think this isn't my favorite Park Chan Wook film, and but even in saying that, like it's still great. This is still like a 4-star movie
like
for me.
it's one of those things where like when you have something like Old Boy, it's
Yeah,
like It is
Old Boy,
difficult
The
to,
Handmaiden. I
yeah,
loved Decision to Leave as well. I thought
yeah,
that was fantastic. This probably sits just below those films, right? Like it's still incredible, but it's just a film where you feel like you have an idea of where it's going to go, and even when it goes to those places, you're still shocked and you're still riveted and things like that. I think there's an extended sequence in the middle where it's coming to the first quote unquote kill and just the
right,
chaos that ensues. But it's like small scale chaos. But in this moment, it is the biggest thing to be happening in the film. Like it's
right.
really well handled and really well constructed. Park Chan Wook is a visual filmmaker who is
Mm,
working on an absolute another level. There is a scene you'll see later on involving an iPad, which
okay.
is possibly one of the
I remember you
oh,
spoke about this. Yeah,
I still don't know how he pulled it off. It's just the fact that like there's an iPad getting used and it's getting passed around to people, and like the camera's kind of like on the side of the iPad, so it's moving with it. But people are using it, and you can see he's using the reflections of the iPad. So if you don't see someone talking, like the camera's not on their face, you're seeing
yeah,
it through the iPad while they. It's just fucking incredible.
yeah.
And there is a shot with a match that is just it's absolute cinema. It's the Marty Scorsese absolute cinema. He is just
Okay,
working on a level that he's constructing visuals that I have never seen before. And this
yeah.
is the guy who obviously revolutionized like the one of the one best one shot action takes of all time in Old Boy,
Oh,
right? With the
yeah.
hammer scene. So it's really cool. It probably doesn't nail the satire as well as people I think are making it out to be, but it
Yeah,
still doesn't mean it's not entertaining. Like it's still very
yeah.
entertaining. It still manages to actually have something to say, especially about work culture in
Mm,
Korea and classism to an extent as well. The movie will go down avenues of the people who are applying for the same job, and you get an idea of like, does this person maybe deserve the job more because of their living
mm.
situation and things like that.
Right, yeah, yeah,
So it
yeah,
still manages to have that. I just don't think it nails the satire completely, but still very entertaining. Thoroughly entertaining film and really well done, and some great reveals and twists and turns
yeah. No,
throughout. So that's No Other Choice. The next film that we'll quickly run through is one Pete and I have both seen, and that is the new Netflix film with Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, The Rip, which is an action thriller film written and directed by Joe Carnahan, and it stars the aforementioned Damon and Affleck, as well as Stephen Yeun, Tiana Taylor, is it Calais?
Kaye. Is that
Kaye.
yeah,
Sasha Kaye, Catalina Sandino Marino, Scott Adkins, and Kyle Chandler. And it's about a group of Miami cops who discover a stash of millions of dollars in cash, leading to distrust as outsiders learn about the huge seizure, making them question who they can rely on. Um, this movie fucks hard. I had such a fun time with this movie.
I messaged Nick and was like, the Rip is really good. Like, I think it's unfortunate that we're kind of like conditioned now when something is like
Sure.
a Netflix movie. We're like,
Yes.
okay, you kind of walk in with a little bit of like hesitation
Yep.
almost.
Yep.
Um,
Absolutely.
and this is like this, apart from the fact that occasionally it does have that Netflix look
There
and
is a Shane. Yeah.
there
Yeah.
is a
Yeah.
sheen, but apart from that, I'm like, this is a
I
cinematic
would have loved
movie.
to have seen this in the
This
cinema.
would have looked fucking great on a big
Dude,
screen.
Joe
Um,
Carnahan shoots action
oh,
so
like
viscerally and so brutally, like, and it's not
he,
that it's violent. It's not like people aren't getting shot up and shot to shit.
it's actually really not
You know,
that
this is kind
violent.
of like PG-13 level violence, but because the movie it has like they're dropping F-bombs,
Yeah,
C-bombs,
and
there's some adult themes and
like
stuff.
thematically, yeah,
Its intensity as well is probably more
yeah,
adult skewered, but it's not like a brutally bloody violent
which
cop
is
drama.
surprising considering where like it very easily could have leaned into that.
Yeah, there's two
Um,
massive shootouts where that could have been the
yeah,
case. Yeah, yeah.
but like I just think I'm assuming a lot of people will watch this because it's Damon and Affleck
Hmm.
together,
And
and
they produced it under their artist equity banner too,
yeah,
which was a monumental
like
thing selling this to Netflix.
like it's like we've got to like we've also got to remember like Ben Affleck and Matt Damon are like you can have your personal opinions about them. Affleck seems to probably cop a lot more
Then Damon,
personal
sure.
shit than Damon does, but I'm like these guys. know how like they're great actors,
Hmm.
they're great writers, they're great filmmakers.
Hmm.
They have this real like nurturing towards feel like up and coming filmmakers. There's like before this film was released, there was a story about how however like this film will perform, the way this
Right.
performs means that all the cast and crew get bonuses,
Bonuses. Yeah.
which is like something that
Unheard of from a Netflix film.
that's it. Like in a time when so many people are against streaming films from like a monetary perspective, because it's like no longer are they getting residuals and there's not a lot of like, well, you got paid for the movie and that's it. Like these two are like, we know that this people will stream this movie.
Yep.
Um, I really, really hope that this isn't one of those ones that they just don't release
Yeah,
stats
yeah, yeah.
for. And I'm like, that's
If
gonna
it's
be
not the number one movie on Netflix this weekend, I'd be
it'll be
shocked.
suspicious.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, aside from all of that, like it kind of has a like kind of a slow burn mentality
Hmm.
leading up to its ending. Its ending is kind of where it kind of explodes with stuff. But I will say I loved that I was like, you don't know who's clean, you don't know who's desperate, you don't know who's already kind of made a decision about this
You don't
money.
know who the snitches are. You don't know
I
who
was
to
like
trust. Yep.
so enthralled with like
Yeah.
this situation. And then there's a scene at the end where everything's being explained, and I was
In the
fucking so
truck,
I was so hooked. I was like,
I was in.
this is what like, and it's just, and it'd be really kind of great to like rewatch it to like
Yes.
see all of
I
that
immediately
because
thought that because there's one character in particular who makes decisions throughout the film where I was
yeah,
going, I I don't know why you're doing this. And then when it clicks, I'm like, oh, this is fantastic. Oh,
yeah,
I will admit, and I wrote this in my review, I was like, the movie probably thinks it's smarter than
mm,
its audience.
mm.
And it's not in that way. It's saying certain things and stuff where I was like, oh, you okay, we obviously picked up on that. That's not a knock on the film at all. Like it's
Yeah,
this movie leans into its grittiness, its testosterone fueled sort of, even with the conversational and the more plot driven aspects. It's still this like gritty testosterone fueled thriller
it
where
does.
everyone's talking to each other like they're dude bros, from the
Yeah,
2000s.
I really like, you can see that Joe Carnahan, like you can see that he loves like 70s cop
Yeah,
thrillers. Like
yeah.
this sort of has like a
Smoking Aces, Cop Shop, those
like
sorts of
yeah,
movies.
and then like there's almost like a Serpico kind of
Mm.
baked into
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
this film, it doesn't come across as like imitation. It just feels like he's just got that personality.
Yeah, he just likes those
Um,
sorts of movies. Yeah, 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 for
yeah,
sure.
and like yeah, it's so it really makes me sad that this isn't being shown on a big screen
I
because
know.
we've seen a few Netflix movies go to cinemas as of late, and this would have been ripe for like if you're
Yeah,
putting things like The
totally.
Gray Man and Red Notice in cinemas for like a week.
Yeah. And like I know you got The Rock and you got Ryan Gosling for those films, but like Matt Damon and Ben Affleck are notable
Like,
stars.
yeah.
Like, and there's not a lot happening
And also,
especially in the States anyway.
yeah, and also, but you've also got like, all right, like Tiana Taylor's on a
Yeah.
fucking roll right now.
Golden
Like
Globe winner,
Golden
Tiana
Globe
Taylor, right?
winner. Even before she won the Golden Globe, there was a lot of hype
Yeah,
around
yeah,
her.
for sure.
So it's
Stephen
like,
Yeun's
you know,
a notable star. Kyle Chandler's about to be into the DC universe. Like, but
yeah.
he's also Kyle Chandler's been in so much cool shit before that,
And we
right?
were
Like,
saying like, Shadow Force, Joe Carnahan's last movie,
yes,
gets a big theatrical release, and
this
it's
one
kind
kind
of,
of, yeah.
but either way, and Nick and I are not always on the side of streaming films,
No, no, no,
so
no.
it kind of does tell you if we're both like, this is a movie, like by all means,
We weren't
put
talking about this initially. Like,
yeah,
that's,
by all means, put on Netflix
yep.
and watch this film. This is like and it's like what 100 minutes or
I think
something.
credits rolled at like an hour 45 or
Like
something. Yeah, it's
and
fucking
it
punchy.
flies by
It's
because
punchy.
there's never a moment that it doesn't stop. And even if you think like, oh, it's not a lot of action is happening, the conversations are so like you just want to know what is going on.
It's partially shown in the trailer, but the "Are you a snitch?" conversation between Matt Damon and Stephen Yeun is one of my favorite things
Oh,
I've seen.
yeah.
I know that's like
Like
favorite things I've seen this year. We're 2 weeks into the year, but I was like, that went hard. I was like, this is
like
a great scene.
this will when at the end of the year when it's like oh, what were some of the best action movies of the year? It'll probably be like The Rip will
The
probably
rip
be
will be
will
up
probably
there.
stay up there. This is shockingly good for a Netflix film. And
I
again, that
100%
also
agree.
means it's also got a lot to do with the fact that this like is made by
Yeah.
genuinely competent filmmakers. This isn't like a it's not a Netflix movie, if that makes
Yes.
sense too. And it'll be yeah, and people will understand what that means when you watch a Netflix movie and then you watch a movie that just happens to be released on Netflix.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's so good.
It
And the
yeah.
chemistry between Damon and Affleck is
Oh,
just all time.
there is
They're
like a
great.
real joy like watching them together because there's like obviously just a shorthand now with them and
They're the best at it. Yeah.
they can give each other shit and it really yeah it's a lot of fun seeing them work together so yeah can't say enough, definitely check out The Rip.
The rip rips and it rips hard.
Rip's
Had a
hard.
fun time with that. A bit of a change of pace now. We're going from gritty action thriller territory to historical drama that will make you bawl your fucking eyes out, most likely.
Yeah.
And that is Hamnet.
Tell me a story.
What story would you like?
Something that moves you.
Is it true you know everything about a person by touching them here?
So Hamnet is a historical drama film directed by Chloe Zhao, who co-wrote the screenplay with Maggie O'Farrell, of which this movie is based on her 2020 novel of the same name. The film dramatizes the family life of William Shakespeare and his wife as they cope with the death of their 11-year-old son, Hamnet. So it stars recent Golden Globe winner Jessie Buckley and
Yeah.
Paul Mescal, alongside Emily Watson and Joe Alwyn in supporting roles. So this obviously, yeah, Jessie Buckley just won best lead actress, sorry, in a drama, and the film won Best Drama at the Golden Globes. This movie's really great. It was one of my favorite movies of 2025, and not just because of the final 25 minutes alone.
The final 25 minutes is pretty incredible
It
though.
might be. It's up
There
there.
is
The last 25 minutes is up there with me, up there with the montage scene from Sinners for me. It's that
and yeah.
that good.
And it includes some of like when you just think of like greatest shots of the
Mm,
year, there is one particular like overhead
yeah,
shot
yeah,
that
yeah.
is just stunning.
Breathtaking.
But yeah, this film is like Nick and I saw this and it didn't take us long to both kind of go like look at each other and be like,
Pretty
this is
great.
pretty
But
great.
and that's the thing, because the first hour and a bit is more about William and it's not Agnes,
It's like
it's
like Agnes sort of
Agnes.
thing.
That's right,
Yeah,
Agnes.
yeah.
Um, meeting, and they're sort of them navigating a relationship that is not really given consent, not permission, I guess, from
Yeah.
families. And he obviously wants to leave to be a writer in London and whatnot, but
Mm.
they start having children. She has to stay. So it's this like the complications that come with their relationship is sort of what fuels the first hour and the love that they do have for each other that keeps them together.
And there's like a weird, not weird, but like there's a almost like a supernatural element to it
Yes.
in terms of like
Well, people
there's this
think her mum was a
it's a
witch.
witch and
Yeah.
she sort of has this kind of relationship with the forest, like she can kind of like speak to it and things like that. But it's
Yes.
like, and that might sound weird, but it's like it
It
works
works in the film.
in the film. But yeah, like this, it's a love story
Hmm.
for sort of like the first. I mean, it's a love story all the way through because it's like a love story between Agnes and William, and
Hmm.
then obviously there's like the love story that she has with these children.
Yeah.
And like it'll probably be very triggering for parents,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
because of what she goes through with her children.
Mhm.
Obviously, she loses Hamnet
Yeah.
at a certain point, and then that really fuels the fire for William to sort of write this show. We do see at the beginning of the film it says that Hamnet and Hamlet were once interchangeable,
Yes. Yeah. It's the same name.
which is why like it's it's Hamlet, but it's not because
Not.
it's
Yeah.
really showing you like who the boy was and
Was.
what he
Yeah.
meant. And it's like it is quite interesting to see them both work through their grief in very different ways. Like
Mm.
Jessie Buckley, who is phenomenal in this
This
film.
is the best role and
Like
she's great in everything she's done.
it's
But
so funny seeing people be like, "Where's Jessie Buckley come from?" Like she has an Oscar nomination prior to
already,
this.
yeah. Yeah.
Everything she's in, she is
Phenomenal.
phenomenal. Like
Yeah.
this is just one of those things where I'm like, it's about time that she gets like
Her
the actual
flowers, right?
due.
Yeah.
But she like doesn't leave anything. Like
This
she
is one of
is,
those ones where you're watching it and you go, this would have been tough to film.
yeah. Which
It
is
would have
why,
been, yeah,
which
really
is why,
hectic.
like, um, and they've spoken about it, that basically when the camera was cut, saying cut, like Chloe Zhao, like they would have Rihanna dance parties on
Yeah.
set because
Yeah.
they were like, we just needed
To lift the
a
mood,
way
right?
to like release.
And that's not
Which
to
is
say the film is overtly depressing, because I actually don't think the movie's really sad. It's sad in its second half, don't get me wrong. It's quite
yeah,
it's upsetting and it's distressing, and it ultimately is. I would argue it's actually more of a hopeful film about the healing power of art
no,
and
I
getting
think
through
so.
your grief and stuff.
Yeah,
But it's kind of a beautiful movie about connection through, like, especially touch. Like, so she's obviously one with nature, like you said. She's like very
yeah,
much, and then she'll read people's futures through the lines on their hands. So she's got
mm.
this physical touch presence with, especially with William Shakespeare, and then her
which
children as well.
which makes a certain
Yes.
part of the ending that much more
Oh,
powerful.
yeah.
But yeah, no,
The visuals of that ending are
yeah.
just
But I
outstanding.
agree that this is like as much as it's working through grief, the
Hmm.
ending really does. There is a sense of hope because
Yes.
you sort of see because like Paul Mescal, who is also fantastic
He's
in
great in this film, but I think people should know he's probably not in the movie as much
as
as
much.
people
Yeah.
will expect. Yeah, he's billed
Um,
as the second lead, but I would
but
argue he's
he
probably got 15 minutes of screen time
like
throughout the film.
really like Jacoby Jupe is
Yeah, yeah, in the film
the
more
second
probably.
lead, and
Yeah,
he's oh my God, he's
God
phenomenal.
bless him. Yeah,
Um, but yeah, because Jesse, like Agnes, sort of doesn't hide anything, whereas
hmm
William kind of internalizes a
and
lot of
puts
his
it out through
emotions and
his
puts it out
writing.
through his
Yeah,
work. So like the ending is kind of it's so sad, but it is also so beautiful because it's like she's
yeah.
finally seeing him grieve
Well,
through this public
and
art.
it's telegraphed earlier in the film when they do have an argument about him moving to London to
Yeah,
write, and the way, because Chloe Zhao is a phenomenal visual director, and the way
yeah.
she sort of blocks that scene, and they kind of don't look at each other during this argument. Like, she's sitting at a table and he's sort of in the back of the bedroom, and they're talking, but they're
Mm,
not acknowledging each other, they're not looking at each other. And then that connection that ultimately these two are now having a conversation through William's work and through the Hamlet play that we're watching
yeah,
for that last 20 minutes is just outstanding writing as
yeah,
well. Like, it's truly touching, and I think it's easy to get swept up in, this is going to sound very dismissive, but it's easy to get swept up in the dead kid of it all.
yeah,
I
100%.
think I think it's what a
Yeah,
lot of people are taking away. So, but I think when you really think about it, and it is about the healing power of art and and using grief, but using that as communication. Like, the whole movie's about communication and connection as well.
yeah,
And I think it's just beautifully written and really well put together. And Jesse Buckley just brings that to life
yeah.
so
Like
well.
we were, we've sort of said like Rose Byrne is so phenomenal, and if I had legs, I'd kick you. But
Yes.
like
Oh,
her one big competition is Jessie Buckley, and
yeah.
it's like if Rose loses,
To Jesse, yeah.
it's
At
like
least she got the Globe as well. Like, at
yeah.
least Rose got
But
it.
like because that's who it's
Yeah.
coming down to. Like
Oh, big time. I think they're the
nobody else
two.
is
Yeah.
winning apart from Jessie or Rose,
Two of the best
really.
performances of the year
Yeah.
by far.
It's like yeah, it's a no, it's a phenomenal film. But I just yeah, I do think some people probably maybe need to be a bit on guard in terms
Yeah.
of how, like, even though we've said it's ultimately hopeful, it's still very, very sad.
It's a bit
And
distressing for sure.
there
Yeah.
are some harrowing scenes involving her losing Hamnet. Like that
Yes.
scene
Yeah.
is
And there's
just
a childbirth
heartbreaking.
scene that is very
Yeah,
confronting as well. Yeah. Like
it's a
it's not pulling
heartbreaking movie.
punches, this movie for
No,
sure.
but
Um,
it's also just like Chloe Zhao, like she is a insanely
yeah.
talented director.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
you just kind of like at this,
We beat the drum for Eternals. We liked Eternals.
yeah,
It's not my favorite
like
MCU movie, but I
um,
appreciated what it did.
it it kind of like it's great that Eternals didn't like derail her career
Mm,
because Hamnet is so strong.
yeah.
And it's kind of like, it's one of those things we'll almost like talk about it with the next film, but like
Mm.
you almost gotta let certain female directors have their Marvel vision because they've proven outside of Marvel how great they are. And
Yeah.
maybe if you let them hone their vision, you might get a genuinely amazing Marvel movie. And like I do think Eternals had a lot more Chloe in it than it did Studio Interference, which is probably why it's as different as it is.
Yeah, and divisive and yeah.
But like at this point I would just be like, give her a blank check and let her do whatever she wants because
Yeah.
she just tells like almost familiar stories in a very original way.
Very unique, very yeah. And
Yeah.
very in touch with sort of in an artistic expression sort of way as well.
Yeah.
You mentioned obviously the battle between Jesse and Rose.
Mm.
Where do you think this sits between this and One Battle for Best Picture at the Oscars? Because these two seem like the front runners for me.
I I don't know. I have a feeling One Battle might win Best Picture
Mm,
just because I think Paul Thomas Anderson is going to win Best Director.
right,
And I do sort of think the amount of awards it won at the Globes,
hmm Is a bit of a precursor
and
to
it's like got the political
hmm
finger on the pulse sort of thing. Um,
Sure, yeah,
Hamnet Hamnet is a deserving winner,
yeah.
absolutely.
You feel like
And I
any other
wouldn't
year, right?
and I
Yeah,
wouldn't be surprised if it did win. I just think One Battle After Another is in a com is being spoken about a
Hmm.
lot more.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. But I think kind of like the Anora thing. Like I'm like
Yeah,
if One Battle After Another wins like director, if it wins editing, like which
mm.
I think it might.
It
Um,
could, yeah.
I think it'll kind of be like okay, because did One Battle After Another won best,
Best comedy, yeah.
but won best screenplay, didn't it?
And best screenplay, yeah. Because they
So
don't do the split, the Globes. They
they
don't
don't
do
do the
adapted and
split.
original.
So that's another thing. If it gets best adapted screenplay, because it will be adapted, won't
It's
it?
adapted, yeah.
So, and Hamnet's also will probably be nominated for best
For that
adapted.
as well, yeah.
I do think it's gonna like Hamnet and One Battle After Another are pretty much gonna be battling it out for like
Yeah.
the main stuff, and then I
Mhm.
think with actress it's Jesse's to lose, but
Yeah.
Rose, you know, is deserving.
It's deserving of it,
So,
absolutely.
but yeah, I do think One Battle After Another is gonna be like the victor of the night. I think.
I think I
I
tend to
think.
agree. I tend
Yeah.
to agree.
Even though personally, like I think Hamnet is a better film,
Yeah, okay.
but
Yeah.
One Battle After Another has more rewatchability.
Yeah. I
And
probably enjoyed One Battle a bit more
yeah,
as
I
well.
enjoyed
Yeah.
One Battle After Another a lot more, but I think Hamnet is a better film. But Hamnet
Yeah.
is not something that I'm going to be revisiting
Any
as
yeah.
much as One
As
Battle After
frequently.
Another. But
Yeah, I think that's a good way of
that
putting it.
also doesn't mean like, Best Picture winners can't be rewatchable.
No, totally.
I
Yeah.
just think there's a lot more talk around One Battle After
One
Another.
battle, then yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think that's a good way of putting it, actually. No, that's a fair way of putting it.
Yeah. And like
Uh
that, and One Battle After Another released next week on all of its
very,
physical,
very excited.
and so that's definitely going to be added to the
That's going
collection.
straight to the pile. Not on the shelf. I'm getting a new shelf.
I was like, I need to buy a new shelf, but going out to IKEA, it's just such a mission.
They can bring it to you now, though. That's the beauty of
Yeah,
home delivery.
yeah,
That you just got to build it. That was
yeah.
Hamnet, as Pete alluded to, not the only MCU director that has a
Mm.
film coming out this week in Australia. She directed The Marvels, but she also directed Candyman. She also directed Hedda, and that's Nia DaCosta, who is continuing the 28-year saga with the sequel 28 years later, The Bone Temple.
This is a memorial to the dead.
So, is this all you're doing?
It is.
Are you Old Nick?
Old Nick. You mean Satan?
Yes. Old Nick released his demons unto the world of man. And the world of man fell before the demons.
So this is a post-apocalyptic horror film directed by Nia DaCosta, written by Alex Garland. It was shot back to back with its predecessor 28 years later, the Danny Boyle film that came out midway through last year, and it serves as the fourth installment overall in the 28 later film series. It stars Ray Fiennes, Jack O'Connell, Alfie Williams, Aaron Kellyman, and Chi Lewis Parry. Taking place after the events of the previous film, Spike is inducted into Sir Jimmy Crystal's gang of acrobatic killers in a post-apocalyptic Britain ravaged by the rage virus. Meanwhile, Dr. Kelson forms a new relationship with a potentially world-changing consequence. So Pete and I think we alluded to it all the way throughout the end of last year. We saw this in November last year.
Yeah.
Because the junket in which we both got to talk to Nia DaCosta and Aaron Kellyman on novastream.com.au on aureview.com now, both great chats. We had to see the film for the junket. The junket was taking place in November. And we had to sit on this film for like 2.5 months.
Yeah, like literally couldn't say anything.
A word. We couldn't say a word.
Which was rough when
Which
this film is fucking
brilliant. Also, it's rough, but also, Pete, it's easy to do. Unlike other people
who
really have
is,
now spoiled the ending of this film on Twitter.
Like we've said it. Nick and I have been very fortunate to see a lot of things really, really early. And as much as we would love to shout from the rooftops as to what we've seen, the things we could have spoiled, even general stuff like the Anaconda screening that we had was before it opened in the US, and we kept that to ourselves, and it didn't, and all it took was one public screening in the US for the Jennifer Lopez cameo to be revealed.
Or even the Ice Cube stuff to then be used in the marketing of the film. It's crazy.
But like 28 years later, the Bone Temple, we sat on a lot. We could have spoiled a lot. We value integrity over clicks, so we didn't. But the funny thing is, because Nick and I were we weren't.
I wasn't hot on 28.
We liked 28 years later.
One of our first episodes of the show, by the way.
We weren't frothing over it. We were
it hasn't made my favorite movies of the year.
We were the second half is a very strong film, but the first half with Aaron Taylor Johnson was just kind of we've seen this.
Yeah.
So it wasn't that I wouldn't say we weren't not excited for Bone Temple, but we went into this being well, let's just see how it is, because we know that Nia DaCosta is a fantastic director. The fact that it was shot with 28 years later meant, okay, there's at least going to be some cohesion.
Yeah.
One of my big worries was that the end of 28 years later was so tonally mismatched.
Yeah.
Then when you see the Bone Temple, you're like, I get it.
But even still, that the tone of the Bone Temple is so far removed from whatever that last 5 minutes of 28 years later was.
I still do think that the final minutes of 28 years later should have been put to the beginning of the Bone Temple. I think.
Yeah.
But this film, and we were saying it, we were like, it might piss a lot of
Well, we
fans
thought
of.
it might have, but
It
people
doesn't
have
seem to have.
responded very, very well to
But
it
because
because it's a great fucking movie.
this isn't a this isn't
Zombie film.
a typical zombie movie. It
It's even
has,
so far removed from the other 28
yeah,
movies.
like it
Yeah.
has moments of violence, and we will say it is incredibly violent.
It's toe curlingly violent at
There
times.
is one sequence involving a skull and a spine that
Yep.
made Nick and I like recoil in our seats because we were like just shocked at
Just how visceral that
it
was.
was
Yeah.
so like so brutal, and we were just
Yeah.
like, "That's an R rating,
We
surely."
thought, yeah, we thought it was going to get R18 in Australia,
Um,
but they got away with it.
they got away with an
They
MA.
got away with it.
But what really took us by surprise was this film is shockingly beautiful.
So it's two things, right? It's shockingly beautiful and it is unabashedly evil. And it
Yeah,
manages to balance the two tones so well. So obviously we got Jack O'Connell as Sir Jimmy Crystal,
who
who
is
outside of the United Kingdom,
he's so
a lot of
creepy.
people were so confused at the at like what this being was supposed to be, and a lot
Yeah.
of people now have made the connection. Obviously, he's dressed after Jimmy Savile, who was a famous presenter,
Hmm.
like basically like the biggest thing in England during his time. And when he died, was revealed that he was a sex predator, a pedophile, like an awful, evil human being.
Yeah.
What I do appreciate and what I like about this using that physicality, that presence as the embodiment of evil, is the idea that in the timeline of the 28 years films, it would never have been revealed that Jimmy Savile was a predator.
Yeah.
It all happened after he died in the 2010s.
Yeah.
So this guy's living in this like, oh, I'm gonna be this, quirky, enigma of a human being, and that's what Sir Jimmy Crystal is,
Hmm.
who declares himself as a son of Satan throughout the film. So you've got this religious deity worshipping guy who has all these teenagers at his fealty, and it's just evil. It is
Yeah.
fucking evil.
Like there's a lot to say about someone sort of like using religion as a way
Oh,
to like
this is
abuse.
Alex Garland being like, none of yous are innocent.
Yeah. Yeah.
You hide
Like,
behind religion as power
yeah,
and
like
use it for fear.
a religious cult leader abusing people. What?
What? But Jack O'Connell is so good. My favorite thing is during the Sinners press tour, someone asked him, like, "Oh, we're gonna see what your character's like." And he's like, "Oh yeah, that dude is an absolute gas cunt." And I'm like, best way to describe him.
Yeah.
Best way to fucking describe him, because he is just evil. He is evil, but he's also he uses fear to control the Jimmies.
Mm.
But there's a wonderful conversation scene with a character later on in the film that shows that he is fearful himself.
Oh,
And it is one of my favorite written things of all time.
the like brief moment of like vulnerability that he shows in that scene, kind of, it's like it doesn't
Change your
excuse
perspective.
it
No.
doesn't excuse anything he does.
But there's understanding. I wouldn't even call it empathy. I would just call it
No,
understanding.
it's just you're like, I
It's
understand
context.
where he's coming from.
But Jack O'Connell is so good in that scene. I'm like, he is phenomenal in this film.
Yeah. And like I guess like the other
The beautiful part of it.
the
Yeah.
beautiful part of it is also like initially tied to the brutality of
Yes.
Samson,
Yeah.
played by Chi Parry,
Lewis Parry, yeah.
Chi Lewis Parry, sorry, who kind of didn't. I'm not going to say he became like a meme, but like his stature and his endowment
Penis.
in the
Yeah.
first film kind of like became a whole thing.
Yes.
And in this film, they like he becomes a very important character.
Mhm.
He initially you sort of think, okay, he's just gonna rip people apart because he does.
Mhm.
But then he has this whole story
Look
with
back at aforementioned skull and spine
Yeah.
scene. Yeah.
but he has this whole story with Kelson,
Yeah.
and it completely changes, like it changes your perspective
You
on
would almost
Stanton.
think it would derail the film,
And
but it
it's so
doesn't.
wild that it doesn't,
It's
because
so good.
and then it makes you just, it really then makes you think like, we've got to remember that like this man had a whole lot, like he was a human. He
Before he
had a
was a
whole
zombie,
life.
yeah.
And just because he's savage as a zombie, that
Yeah.
doesn't mean he was a savage
A
human.
human being, yeah.
And the sort of the narrative of Kelson sort of being this godlike figure,
Mhm.
like he is playing God,
Yeah.
but he's doing it in like a really like respectful way, because he's like, I just want to know, like I want to know what
He's so
happened to
curious as
people.
well. Yeah, yeah.
And then the playing God thing is then kind of very nicely like spun on its head when he links up with Jimmy.
Oh,
And so like,
so
you know,
good.
like the poster image you've seen of like Ray Fiennes in like white skin and like no shirt and
Leather slacks, yeah,
just
yeah.
acting wild, like that scene
Is phenomenal.
is phenomenal, and it makes so much sense in the context
Yes.
of everything.
Oh,
Like and
phenomenal. Yeah.
it's
It's one of my favorite things I've seen in the last few
so
years.
wild, and I reckon if you explained it to someone, which I don't think we should, because
No,
it's
no, no. I think that
but
going
like
into
I
that bit
think,
blind is so
yeah,
worth it.
but I think if you explained it to someone, it would sound
Out of
ridiculous,
context, it sounds ridiculous. But
because
after
of
that
like,
conversation scene,
and like the music played, and the fact
oh,
that like it's such a
one of the
performance.
best Iron Maiden needle drops of
It
all
is,
time. Yeah.
yeah, like this
This movie
like
has the juice. It
this movie
really
should,
does.
like, it should not be this good.
It's
Like,
here's its thing as well. It's a January release. It's a sequel. It's the fourth installment in a franchise that we thought was dead 20
mm,
years ago.
yeah,
Um, it's another new filmmaker coming into the franchise with Nia DaCosta, so it's going to lose that Danny Boyle
yeah,
aesthetic that people obviously seem to really enjoy from 28 years later.
yeah,
But holy fuck, she nails it. And I think it's one of Alex Garland's best screenplays. Like I'm
yes,
so
yeah,
hit and miss with Alex
yeah,
Garland. Like there's some like I love this. I thought Warfare was great. I think Sunshine is great. I love the original 28 Days. I really like the original 28 Days Later as a movie. I love the script though.
mm,
This is up there with some of the best stuff he's written. Like,
yeah,
you know, and the tonal balance of the pure evil, and we see the Jimmies. There is an extended
oh,
sequence with a family in a
oh,
barn that is just horrific. The opening scene is
oh my God,
fucking
yes,
phenomenal, but
yeah,
it is so shocking and
yeah,
it's horrific.
yeah.
And because it involves children,
When you realize how disposable the Jimmies are,
yeah,
um,
it's just and how it happens is just is and it also sets up a lot of the danger for Spike as well, who is a returning character. Obviously, his
yes,
story continues, but this is far more a movie about two men who have used religion in certain ways,
mm,
whether they know it or not. And that's some of the things that Dr. Kelson morally struggles with the film. He's obviously a man of
mm,
science, but he understands that there is a humanity underneath it all that is fueled by a greater desire, a spiritual desire.
yeah,
And then you've got a man who thinks he's the son of Satan because his priest father, you know, he thinks kind of allowed the zombie apocalypse to kind of happen and take over
yeah,
that part of England when he was a child. So it just has so many thematic layers that are wonderful, and that are so well explored in this film. But it's also just an entertaining fucking horror film. Like, and
yeah,
it is so. I think when we finished it, we were just like stunned, just shocked, and just sitting there going like, we did not think it was going to go over well with people. We were just like, it's so
yeah.
different to what everyone else is going to expect. But
Um,
it turns out that if you just make a great fucking movie, even if you slap a title on it that says, you know, it's the same as the movie that came before it,
mhm.
it can still work. And it makes me so excited for the
For the
third, which has been officially greenlit. Thank God.
Thank God. But yeah, I also want to like shout out, like I think visually the
Mhm.
film, like Sean Bobbitt, cinematographer, like
Yes.
he
Yeah. Yeah.
like the contrasting worlds of this, because you've got like the Bone Temple is so like,
Hmm.
there's like pastoral and like
Yep.
it's eerie, and then
And
the
there's an
Jimmy,
epicness to it as well. Like
yeah,
there's a scale to it that's phenomenal. Yeah.
and then the Jimmy's is just like it's chaotic and
It's
tense and
frenetic
violent
and
and
dirty and
color and
yeah.
and they've
Even what Nia DaCosta does with like it's all kind of very still, calm camera work with Dr. Kelson, and then it's all handheld, dynamic
yeah
camera work with the Jimmies, and the camera's just moving around so much it makes you feel so uncomfortable and discombobulated and stuff. Like it's
yeah
great filmmaking.
yeah like it's just sort of it'll it's entertaining, it's like it's unsettling, but it's got like this just inspiring, if I can speak, mentality to it. This is an epic of
Yeah.
the horror genre, and I think anybody who is a fan of the series, anybody who's a fan of just bold, like intelligent genre
Mhm.
movies, like this sort of proves just how great horror is.
Yeah.
No longer that you don't really have to fear a January horror release.
Yep.
So I like yeah, we this will like I think this will stay in the top 10 of the year, or it'll stay higher up.
Yes. I still think we'll
Because
be talking about this film in December. Yeah.
it's
Absolutely.
like it's kind of like we had Sinners so early in the year, and that stayed. So
Yeah,
it'll be
yeah.
interesting to see if how. But yeah, this is like, and
It's
this
going
is
to be one of
coming
the
from
best films of the year.
and this is coming from two people who are
A little more
lukewarm on
mixed.
28
Yeah.
years later.
Yeah.
But it's funny because like the things that we liked about 28 years later have been expanded on in this film. So it's
Yeah.
like there you
We
go.
we know it works.
Yeah.
We're experts in this field. But yeah, big recommends across the board for 28 years later, The Bone
Bone Temple.
Temple. Bring on 28 years later 3. I'm so excited. Well, that's another episode of the World Screens
Oh,
podcast done and dusted.
you
No,
want to do
I
the fourth?
realized we were gonna do that, and then I was looking at it, I was like, that's the exact same numbers from last week. So I think I
Oh,
put
right.
that's all right. We'll bring back the box office next week because nothing changed, or I just
Cool.
copy pasted the wrong one last week. But you know what? Mistakes happen, and that's okay. And we'll have a lot of movies to talk about in the
It's
box
a
office
it's
come
a
next
pretty
week.
it's a stacked January.
We have a stacked and it's only getting bigger, Pete, because next week
Yeah.
on this episode on this show, we're going to be talking The Secret Agent,
Yes.
Return to
Remember,
Silent. Yeah,
remember how we saw that like
it's
8 months ago?
a long another movie we've sat on for a long time.
Yeah.
So The Secret Agent, Return to Silent Hill, Primate,
Hey.
Mercy,
Oof.
and Marty Supreme.
Hey.
There's also a sixth film that could be added on there. The Iron Lung is coming out on Friday the
Oh.
30th, which is being self-distributed by Mark Fishback, he was a YouTuber who played a horror game and loved it and bought the rights to the game and made a movie about it. And apparently it's getting a lot of buzz. So if Pete and I get a chance to see it, we will talk about it. And
Well,
we will see
there's
because
because
we're
also
traveling next week and
we're traveling next week. There are at least two of those movies are
we
not
haven't seen yet.
we
Yeah.
haven't seen and are not getting preview screenings. So yeah, there'll be a lot to do, but we'll get through it. We'll get
We'll
to
get
it.
through it and we do it all for you all. So since we're doing that for you, the least you can do is head to worldscreens.com.
There it
Subscribe
is.
to the emailing list. Subscribe on YouTube. Subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all the good places. If they can't wait a week, Pete, to hear your voice, where can they find you on the internet?
At rated PDG on Instagram, X, and TikTok, and the aureview.com for just all of the things, interviews, reviews,
The whole shebang.
all of my little think pieces that I decide to write about.
They're fun. They're good. I'm enjoying them. Keep them coming.
And Rotten Tomatoes, GRAY. I will say things that are coming up. I got some great Sundance titles, baby.
Hell yeah.
I'm
Very
very excited
exciting.
for the stuff that I've got for that. So that'll be coming up soon. And something else that's coming up soon, Nick Stats, where can they find you?
I'm always coming up, baby. At NickSlick6 on Instagram, X, Letterboxd, TikTok, and novastream.com.au for the interviews. 28 years later interview has just gone up with Aaron Kellyman and Nia DaCosta. All of the coverage from the Bride trailer press conference, which we heard Maggie Gyllenhaal talk about this film that I'm now very excited for after that trailer.
She loved, like, she loves
movies.
film, which
loves
is always
movies.
exciting to be like, okay, regardless if that movie
cooking
hits
with some
or not,
gas.
like you're making this for the right reasons, which is always a good
Amen
thing.
to that.
Yeah.
And then you'll see some coverage from Pete and I. We're covering the Australian release of Edition, Teresa Palmer film. We'll be traveling down to Sydney to talk to Teresa and the producer and director.
First in-person
junket of the year, which is very, very exciting. But most importantly, worldofscreens.com. Everything that is going on there. We thank you for all your support, and we'll see you on the next episode of the World of Screens podcast.